I will call the next speaker, who is in the person of Honorable Elvis Afriyie Ankrah, to speak to us.
Thank you very much, and Mr. Chairman, distinguished speakers, students, and all other protocols observed. Let me first of all. Hello. Hi. So we need to look at best practices globally. What are the best practices? In the US today, even their primaries, people are raising money, $5, $2, $10 from individuals. That is the kind of money that when you take, you are not bound to anybody. And even the big donors, and please, just for the records, there are genuine big donors. There are people who, because of what they believe ideologically, you know, we have them in our party, we have them with MPP, people like, for example, Harry Sawyer, they put their money, their resources to back the party. People like there are people who just gave because of the ideology they believe in. But let's not kid ourselves. There are also people, it's business. They put the money down. And at the end of the day, you have to pay with plenty interest. I don't know whether there are foreign ones or more. I don't know. I am saying I don't know. You can choose to believe me or not. So, what I'm saying, I'm talking from practical experience, not textbook. I was the one President Mahama asked to investigate JIDA and clean it up. Have you heard of JIDA? Yes. I did that investigation. By the time I finished, I wanted to go into exile. Because the people, they say, but you are very wicked. And in fact, at the point, my conscience was speaking, these are people who supported us. Oh. They helped us. They bought vehicles for us. They gave us things. They did this and that. Now they say I should investigate them and cancel their contracts. Cancel this one. Cancel this one. Won't pay. Won't pay. I said, okay, we shall see. Then my wahala started. So I'm talking from practical experience. So if we don't do these things, believe me, we'll be running around in circles and in circles and in circles and in circles, and we will not go anywhere. So I'm dealing with contemporary issues, and I'm saying for the record that I will not stand here to be a hypocrite and say that NDC, in which I am, did everything fine. That will not be true. You will think I'm a fool. I won't say that. We made mistakes. The truth is one. In the same way, and it didn't start today. Since 1992, I don't want to go to Nkrumah and Buzia and all those people. I'm talking about from 1992. The same vicious cycle. You know, when you take the newspapers, and go and take newspapers and look at the issues, it's as if you are in a state of deja vu. For example, floods. Go and do research on floods. Look at newspapers from the 1960s. It's the same thing. I mean, what is wrong with us? So, for example, we are told that we are getting $2 billion for bauxite. On the face of it, it's good. If you have raw materials and you're going to get bauxite and do infrastructure and everything, it's good. But I'm asking myself, what is the institutional mechanism put in place to determine how many trucks, how many ships, or how many train loads of bauxite is up to the 2 billion? Do you know? No. I don't know. I'm a politician. I'm very active. Anybody who knows should tell me. So, 2 billion, we are happy. We are getting Tamale Tajid. We are getting this, we are getting that, we are getting this. And yet there's no mechanism for us to check that at what point do we say, okay, in any case, who has valued the bauxite? Where is the report for us to see independently and analyze? Who has subjected that report to critique? So our gold is going on with bad rivers and water bodies as the result. And you've heard about Aisha Hang and all those things. It didn't start today. All the parties, they are guilty. Because when a president decides to do the right thing, as he's sitting in the castle of Flagstaff House, then other people, mainly financiers, political hacks, and all those people, they will be on the ground. They will call, hey, you know who I am? Police. The most difficult job in this country is to be a policeman. They are calling, order from above. Everybody is above. So we have a problem. We've heard about a 50-year bond. Okay, assuming we get the bond, where is the plan? You must have a plan, or you must have a development plan to know that this is where you want to take the country 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, before you look for the money. Hello? Yes, there was a plan. We were doing 40-year development plan. Where is it? It's been curtailed. So some of the things you people should do, and you are good on social media, start a movement. Demand that there must be a development plan which will be backed by law. That every government that comes to power will be bound. Because it doesn't make sense. And I'm saying we all do it though. University of Ghana Medical Hospital is there. We all do it. When we came to power, they will come and whisper. The biggest place where there's concern is in political parties. The stories you will hear, oh my God. So sometimes it's difficult to do the right thing. But when we know that the youthful population, who form the majority of the population, this is their demand, will be compelled to do the right thing. We want a 40-year, 50-year, 60-year development plan, and every government must be bound by it. Start that movement on social media. That is part of the change. And start the movement and demand that political parties must tell us how they are going to now rearrange their finances. For example, can't we say that, look, every party will make it a law. You cannot do more than 10 billboards a region, or let's say even 40. Because when you are incumbent, maybe because I'm in opposition, that's why I'm talking. But that's why democracy is good. But when you are incumbent, you don't have a problem. You do. I was in Nigeria as an election observer. When I got there, less than 100 meters, Buhari. I said, what is this? Very expensive. We do the same place. NDC does it, MPP does it. That is money, and yet your gutter is in a mess. Does it make sense? Come on, gutter. Or gutter. There's gutter. Which people say that I'm half a shanty. So my people gutter. So somebody say, well, you've talked about the problems. Okay, I time myself, so I have to start running up. Hey, what's up? Enforcement of our laws. Simple traffic regulations. The dumping of refuse. Simple. This Ghana here, I worked in a company, Mechanical Lloyd. They had a mechanical workshop. You go to that workshop, you won't see one drop of oil on the floor. You won't see one piece of paper. Because when you go to that place, the first 2 weeks is orientation. They'll tell you, if you drop a piece of paper, you are fined instantly. In this same Ghana, you go to Burma Camp, the place is neat. In this same Ghana, you go to University of Ghana, the place is neat. You come here, the place is neat. Yeah, in this same Ghana, you go to some other place. So what is it not enforcement? Is it not personal discipline? Are they not Ghanaians? So if you see somebody throwing a rubber, arrest the person, not arrest as a massa. If we all begin to be more conscious and do things, obey simple traffic rules. I used to do it a few times, but when I sit back now and I see it, it's very, very bad. Everybody is in traffic. Then you see some driver. Don't be deceived. Most of it is drivers. Beep, and everybody has to give way. It's crazy. We must enforce basic rules. And we must change our own attitudes. I'm saying that when I see Ghanaian success stories, entrepreneurs, young people, people like this, who are making things happen, it tells me that if we get more people like that, cumulatively, we'll begin to achieve more. The synergy will make us achieve more. And that is why forums like this are very, very, very important. You know, I was supposed to be in Tamale and Nalerigu, but I decided to postpone it, and I had to be here. Don't underestimate it. It's a seed that is being sown. Take that seed and you can change the world. As somebody said, Jesus Christ changed the world. One man, J.J. Rollins changed the world. Nkrumah changed the world. One man can make a difference. When you start, people will follow. Civil service, public sector. If you guys know what happens there. Conferences, seminars, workshops, both local and foreign. When I was the Minister of Local Government, one time, some of the directors, I was looking for them, they were nowhere to be found. They had gone to Malaysia and Singapore. They came back on a Wednesday or Thursday. Then they brought another memo that the following week they had to go to another conference because our ministry has been elected as co-chair of that, so they have to go. So a lot of things happen. People attend conferences on the blind side of ministers, on the blind side of government, and that's a huge sums of money. And when they go to per diem, dollars, hotels, I'm telling you, if you have any idea. Of course, I didn't allow them to go. Because you know what? Almost if you are a politician or a minister and you want to travel every week, you will go. Because even cats and cockroaches conference, they'll bring the invitation. And if you are not smart, and you also go, every time you go, when they bring their memo, you can't refuse. So it gets to a point, you must have that self-discipline. And I'm saying some of you are going to be ministers very soon. The work is in Ghana. Some people take pride. Oh, I just returned from a conference in Paris, and I just returned from a... This is local government too. And I'm looking at them like, you return from a conference in Paris, and return from... Look at the Teshi. Look at the Nimagata. Look at the Gatas around us. So if you are not careful, you see, you become conference conscious. Today you are going to conference, you are collecting per diem, you feel that you have arrived, you are successful. Which kind of success? So we need to deal with all these things. Now, having said all these things, you might feel, oh, so is it that bad? No. Because our progeny, our ancestors, we had people like Mansa Musa. If you are here, you have the genes of Mansa Musa in you. Old Mali, if he were alive today, he would be the richest man today, with a fortune of over $400 billion. If centuries ago, people like Mansa Musa could build cities and empires that endure the test of time, then today, I mean, we are seeing Rwanda, what turned Rwanda, how many years ago? It was a mess. But through discipline, through focus, through leadership, and if you interact with the people of Rwanda, I've had opportunity to interact a lot with them. They're very, very disciplined, organized people. One of the things I've seen is that here we are too smart, but our smartness is directed towards negative things. Anytime there's any new law or rule, it's as if there's a conference. And usually, this one, forgive me, usually happens in Kumasi, they will find a way around it. How to circumnavigate policy or rules or regulations. We must use that smartness to build and develop ourselves. The city of Timbuktu in West Africa in the 14th century was 5 times bigger than the current city of London and was the richest in the world. So if in the 14th century, people like us could build cities, then I believe that with a proper mindset, change is possible, it 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 is possible. Thank you very much.
And the more clap is possible.